All rise, we will obey. The International Criminal Court is now in session. L'audience de la Cour pénale internationale est ouverte. Please be seated. Veuillez vous asseoir.
Court officer, please call the case.
Thank you, Mr. President. Situation in the Republic of Kenya in the case of the prosecutor versus William Samoei Ruto and Joshua Arap Sang, ICC 01090111. We're in private session, Your Honors. Open session, sorry, Your Honors.
Open session. Thank you very much. I see the prosecution appearances remain as it was yesterday, and the defense.
Mr. President, counsel's attendance remains the same. The only change is the excused physical presence of Mr. Ruto.
Mr. Sanks remains the same, Mr. President.
Thank you. Mr. Ruto.
May, please, Your Honors. On our side, there is a slight change for the time being. Mr. Ochlon Ratsetseg will be joining us after the break. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good morning, Mr. President. No change for the representation of witness 356. However, I have informed the Chamber that I will not be able to be present for the second session, should you wish to discuss this issue at some later point. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. We are starting without the witness quickly for an announcement as to scheduling until the Easter recess. We will take it that far, especially in light of the decision of Trial Chamber 5B on the Kenyatta case. The current session of this trial, as indicated earlier, will run until the 31st of January. And then we would adjourn and reconvene on Monday the 17th of February 2014. We will stay in trial until the 11th of March 2012, until the 11th of March 2012. 2014. 2014. Reason the 12th comes in, you see why. With the possibility of the 12th of March being a buffer date for any unfinished business, the 12th of March. We will rest it there, and then we will reconvene on Monday, the 31st of March 2014, until the 16th of April 2014, until the 16th of April 2014. There will be no buffer date for that, so we will stop cold on the 16th of April. That is the schedule we will have for the judicial calendar until the Easter recess. Now, there is a pending. Can we go briefly in private session for just a quick minute or two?
We are in open session, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. Now, there was a matter of the a prosecutor's request for summonses to be issued to certain witnesses, we will not be discussing the details of those witnesses, but the idea of that litigation. It's a novel issue, certainly for this chamber, and it's one which the chamber would benefit from a hearing, public hearing on the matter. And we would like to schedule a hearing, a status conference for that purpose. We're consulting with you to see whether this is inconvenient for you in light of the fact that it will fall within the break period. On the 14th, Friday the 14th of February, that would be the chamber's preference to litigate that question, just status conference on that and any other matter we may need to take up before reconvening on the 17th for the hearings.
I'm grateful, Mr. President, for the inquiry. That would be convenient for the defence.
That's okay with me, Mr. President.
That's also convenient for you.
That's perfectly acceptable for the prosecution. Thank you.
That is also acceptable to you. Right.
Yes.
Right. Victims' Counsel?
That is suitable. Thank you.
Thank you. Then we will be issuing the necessary scheduling order. Thank you very much. We will now bring down the blind and invite the witness back into the courtroom to continue his testimony.
Your Honours, if I may just mention, there is on the witness summons filing still the outstanding issue of a request to reply. I'm sure that that will be resolved in good time before the 14th of February.
Did you say that you had been several times during 2007?
No, Your Honor. I didn't say 2007, Your Honor. I said I have been there several times, Your Honor.
Did you say you had been during the elections of 2005?
There were no elections in 2005, Your Honor.
Did you say you went there during the 1997 elections?
Yes, Your Honor, I said so.
So you deny saying that you went there during the 2005 general election. Is that right?
Your Honor, there were no elections in 2005.
And witness, you went to the house and you described the house in Eldoret. And you told the prosecution, and it's 0532, you said it's a line 542 for the prosecution. It's a two-story house, down and up. There's a first floor and a second floor. Do you remember saying that? It's a two-story house?
Your Honor, I meant the ground and one floor up, Your Honor.
Right. So to be clear, a ground floor and a staircase with an upstairs. Is that right?
Your Honor, I meant just that the normal floor and one floor up, Your Honor.
And you described this as the exterior of this house being white in colour. Do you remember telling that to the prosecution?
Yes, Your Honor.
You said it was surrounded with an electric fence. Do you remember saying that?
I remember, Your Honor.
Did you go inside that house?
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
And in fact, you say it's a large place, isn't it? It has about 15 rooms.
The one which I said it is about 15 rooms in the house in Suka, Your Honor.
Witness, I'm looking at the transcripts of your interview with the prosecution. And you say, and Your Honour, it's Ken OTP 0081 0531. And witness, listen to this, please. You're asked to describe houses in Nairobi and Eldoret. And you say at line 504, I don't know about the Nairobi house. Is that right?
Yes, Your Honor, I did. I say.
You then say, but I know about the Eldoret house and the Sugoi house. Do you remember saying that?
Yes, Your Honor.
You were asked about, by the prosecution, how about the Eldoret house? And you say this, witness, and listen carefully. The Eldoret house is around 15 rooms. Do you remember saying that, witness?
Your Honor, I don't remember. And maybe I messed up by saying 15 rooms. The house which I said it's between 10 to 15 rooms is the house in Suga, Your Honor.
And witness, you were quite specific what house you're talking about, because at line 512 of Ken OTP 0081 to 0531, you say it's along Old Nairobi Road. Do you remember saying that?
Yes, I said so, Your Honor.
And you have quite some discussion about Nairobi Road, because the interviewer, the prosecution, mishear it as Ordinary Road, and you say, no, it's Old Nairobi Road. Do you remember saying that?
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
You said opposite the Pioneer Estate. Do you remember saying that?
I said it's along Pioneer area, Your Honor.
Witness, just answer the question. Did you say it was opposite the Pioneer Estate? Yes or no?
I didn't say that, so, Your Honor.
Right. And you accept, you say it had 2 levels, 1 ground and 1 above?
Yes, Your Honor.
Living quarters above, was it?
Your Honor, what I meant is the normal floor and 1 up, Your Honor.
Because there's quite some discussion about it, and you say, yes, it's a 2-story house, and you describe it. Have you ever stayed in that house?
No, Your Honor, I have never stayed in that house.
And then you went on, and it's Ken OTP 0081 0532. And you go on and describe the... Sorry, I think I misquoted. 0081-0534. And you go on and describe the Sugoi house. Do you remember that, witness?
Yes, Your Honor.
You say you've been to the Sugoi house many times?
Yes, Your Honor.
You say you stayed in the Sugoi house, is that right?
1 night, Your Honor.
Yes. And you describe that house as having 15 to 20 rooms. Do you remember saying that?
Your Honor, I said 10 to 15 rooms, Your Honor.
Witness, you're telling making dishonest statements to this court, aren't you?
I don't remember if I said so, Your Honor.
Well, witness, let me read what you said. 0081-0534. And you're asked by the prosecution, please can you continue and try to describe for us the house of Mr. Ruto. And you say in Sugoi. They say in Sugoi. You say it is about 15 to 20 rooms. The interviewer says 15. You say to 20 rooms. I haven't counted. Do you remember saying that, witness? Or do you maintain it's only 10 rooms now? Massive restriction.
I remember saying that, Your Honor.
Yes. So why did you say a minute ago it's 10 rooms? What happened? Did it collapse, half of it?
Your Honor, I remember it's about 10 to 15 rooms, Your Honor.
Counsel, let's stick with the factual proposition. Let's leave out the editorializing. You can make your submissions at the right time.
And witness, you described the exterior of this house as red roof with white walls. Do you remember that?
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
And you've eaten in that house?
I have slept there once, Your Honor, but I have been there several times, Your Honor.
So you know it well, witness?
Yes, Your Honor, I know it.
Witness, I put it to you. You have never in your life been into any home of Mr. William Ruto, either in Nairobi or in Sugoi or in Eldoret. What do you have to say about that?
That's a lie, Your Honor. I've been to both Eldoret House and Sugoi House, Your Honor.
Your Honours, I'd refer the bench, with your leave, to tab 83. And I'd ask to be put on the screen for the witness, and it's public, in fact. Ken D09 0028 0193.
Mr. Khan, does the ERN number finish by 0193 of the first page of the document?
It's the second in a series. The first photograph is Ken D09 0028 0192. But the photograph I wish to show, because I don't want to go through all of them, is Ken D09 0028 0193. Witness, can you see that photograph?
Yes, Your Honor.
Never been there, have you?
I've been there, Your Honor.
And that house, if you look at the photograph, more than a third of it, in fact, is a garage. You see that on the left.
Yes, Your Honor.
And that house does not have 15 rooms, Mr. Witness. It has 1.5 bedrooms and another room and a small kitchen. It's a very small house. It's not even as big as this courtroom.
Which house is this, Counsel? The Nairobi house, the Eldoret house, the Sugoi house?
Your Honor, this is the Eldoret house.
Has the witness testified to that? Have you asked them questions to identify the house?
Witness, which house? I'll put it to you, witness. This is the house of Mr. Ruto in Eldoret. You
Your
haven't
Honor,
been there, have you?
Your Honor, this is the house of which Mr. Ruto moved to after being in the house which was in Old Nairobi Road. And this house is also in Baonia, Your Honor. This is not the house of which Mr. Ruto was staying in 1997, Your Honor.
And you say you went to this house in 2007?
I remember being to that house, Your Honor, but not actually in 2007, Your Honor.
When did you go to this house, witness? Before 2007?
Before 2007, I was there, Your Honor.
So in 2007, which house did you go to? In Eldoret?
Your Honor, I don't remember exactly, but in 1987, the house which I was describing as having one story at top is not this house, Your Honor. It was along Eldoret and Old Nairobi Road in Eldoret, Your Honor. But this house, the house which is in the screen now, is not the one which is along Old Nairobi Road, Your Honor.
So, witness, you don't remember which house you went to in 2007?
I don't remember. If I went to Honorable Ruto's house in Eldoret in 2007, it must be this house. But before 2007 elections, I went to this house, Your Honor.
Witness, let me read what you told the prosecution. 0081-0533. And you're describing the house in Eldoret. And you were asked by the prosecution at line 566, have you been there? You said yes. You were asked how many times. And you said this: several times during 2007 general election, 2005 general election, and 1997 general election. You were asked, do you know when this house was built? You said, no, at first I knew that this house was not owned by Mr. Ruto, but he was leasing, but he later bought it. And you're asked very specifically later on, at line 577, and 2007, how many times did you go there? You said, I hope I went there only once. And you were asked, and when was it? You said it was around May. And they were very specific. No, I'm talking about 2007. You said, yeah, May 2007. So, witness, it was very clear you were talking about one house you've described, and you said you'd been to that house in 1997, 2005, and 2007. Isn't that true? That's what you said.
Your Honor, the house which I went in, I remember, yes, I went to this house in 2007, before 2007 general election. But the house which I was describing is the house of 1997 general election, before 1997 general election, or in 1997 general election. Honorable Ruto was living in a house along Old Nairobi Road, and that house was the one having the white paint and the security fence, electric security fence, and it was having one floor on top, Your Honor.
Mr. Witness, can I tell you one thing? I'd like your reaction for the court. Mr. Ruto, I put it to you, has lived in that house, the photograph of which you have seen, since around 1998. And he has never, ever lived in a two-story house in Eldoret, ever. What do you have to say about that?
That is a lie, Your Honor, because I went there several times myself, and I even know the person who was a security in that compound, Your Honor.
Witness, I want to be quite specific so there's no misunderstandings. I'm not asking about your travels in your imagination. I'm talking about physically, with your feet, entering a building. You've never been there, have you?
I have been there several times, Your Honor, both the two houses in Eldoret and the Sukai house, Your Honor.
Your Honor, with the court's leave, I would ask to turn the bench's attention to 84, tab 84. And I wonder if Ken D09 0028 -0197 could be put on the screen. Mr. Witness, can you see the walls of that house?
Yes, Your Honor.
Not white, are they?
Counsel, I don't know what you're proposing to do with all these materials we're seeing that we've reviewed. I would like to avoid a situation where at the end of let me revise myself. It will be better if you were proposing to either tender something into the record, to do it after treating that particular item. It's easier, better that way. I know we've in the past dumped things in at the end. It's not ideal.
Indeed, Your Honour, it reminds me I was not true to my intention yesterday, and I didn't deal with the exhibits that I dealt with yesterday either. So perhaps that can be done at a suitable point during the day as well, when it comes to the exhibits.
Okay, we can do that. But now that we've looked at two houses,
let me do it in this way. Witness,
Honor.
seeing that photograph, do you know, and hearing what I've already said, do you know whose house that is?
Honorable William Ruto's house in Super, Your Honor.
And you can see the colour of the brickwork, can't you?
I can see, Your Honor.
It's not a white painted house, is it?
Yes, Your Honor.
You accept your description of the... And that's the house of Mr. William Ruto in Sugoi, isn't it?
Yes, Your Honor.
So you accept your description of this being white painted exterior is wrong?
I accept, Your Honor. I messed up by there.
And witness, the reason I'm saying you messed up is because you haven't been there.
I've been there several times, Your Honor.
And you say you've been to the interior.
I slept there once, Your Honor, but even the sitting room, I've been there several times, Your Honor.
You see, the reason I have such difficulty, witness, with that account is, and the judges will see, they'll have the opportunity of a site visit and seeing the house in due course. But that house doesn't have 15 to 20 rooms. It has 4 bedrooms. And that's all. Nowhere near 15 to 20 rooms. And so I'm saying that the reason your description on the interior and the exterior is so different from reality is because you've never been there. What do you have to say about that?
Your Honor, the house has 10 to 15 rooms, Your Honor.
Your Honor, I'd
If
ask to exhibit.
fair enough, we'll get to that. Do you have floor plans as exhibit of the house? So as an alternative to site visit. Not precluding site visits, but see if we can exhaust other methods of proving things before embarking upon the more expensive procedure. If you've got the floor plans of the house, that may be something worth considering.
Your Honour, I think we may have them, but not for use with this particular witness. And there'd be no use with him anyway, we say.
Fair enough.
Which, Your Honour's in due course will endeavour to get them to the bench. Your Honour, I would ask to tender as an exhibit both the documents that I've shown. So that is the ERN number is Ken D09 0028-0193, and that's the house of Mr. William Ruto in Eldoret. And secondly, Mr. William Ruto's home in Sugoi, which is 0028-0197. Your Honour, the witness has purportedly identified those, and I would ask that they be exhibited.
Are you tendering only, proposing to tender only 0?
Your Honour, the whole series, in fact, I'd ask to be tendered.
So then...
I don't think the prosecution will object that they show the same different perspectives of the same building that has been identified by the witness.
So the previous
Actually, Your Honour.
1 second, please. Let's the previous house would be in the series of the photos between 0192.
Your Honor, starting with...
To 0196, is that it?
Indeed, Your Honor, that's quite correct.
All right. Mr. Garcia, you were about to say something?
Your Honor, I have no objection showing every photograph to the witness, if that's what the...
There's no objection, Your Honor. Sometimes it might be better for the witness to actually have a look at the other photos because they show different sides of the house, but that's for defense counsel to consider if he finds it necessary or for the court.
Why don't we, that's a good suggestion. Let's quickly go through it with the witness, if we can...
In that case, if the first one could be put on, which is 0028-0192.
Witness, what photo do you see? Can you identify what photo that is? We're looking at the document marked that ends with 0192.
William Ruto's house in Eldoret, Your Honor.
Okay.
I'm grateful. And Your Honor, then I'd ask to be put on the screen the next 0194. So Ken D09 0028 -0194.
Before 194, let's take it in series. There's 0193.
Your Honor, I can do that again.
Yes, let's do that. Just, I think we've seen that before, right?
Indeed.
So let's just...
with the court's assistance, the one ending 0193. So Ken D09 0028 -0193.
Witness, you saw this photo earlier and you identified it. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
That is another perspective of the same photo of the same house you saw before. Is that the case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
I'm grateful. And after that, the one ending 0194. So the full number Ken D09 0028 -0194, please.
What do you see, witness?
Still the house of William Ruto in Eldoret, Your Honor.
The same house?
Yes, Your Honor.
Again, from a different angle?
Yes, Your Honor.
And then, Your Honours, perhaps then start again with the first one I showed last time, so the sequence is complete. I'd ask to be put on the screen. Ken D09 0028 -0197.
All right, before we do that, prosecutor, so it looks like that's a different house. 0197 is a different house.
Yes.
Prosecutor, you're not objecting to the earlier house represented by photos 0192 to 0193?
No, Your Honor. They've been
94.
They've been identified by the witness, so the prosecution has no objection.
Okay.
I understand 0197 has been as well identified by the witness.
So you're also not objecting to...
We have no objection.
Grateful. So dealing with the Eldoret house first, Your Honour, I'd ask that it be given an exhibit number. Your Honour, we can do it now or do it at the end when I've dealt with the Sugoi house, as the court pleases.
Let us begin with the Sugoi house.
Your Honour, the one that was looked at first so far, of course, that's the Eldoret house, the white single-storied house. That's the Eldoret house.
That's the Eldoret.
Indeed.
0192
Yes.
to 194
Indeed.
is the Eldoret house.
Yes.
Thank you for the correction. All right, then that comes in as the next in the Ruto defense exhibit.
Thank you, Mr. President. The pictures in Ken D09 0028 0192 until page 0194 will bear the following number: EVD T D09 00095, and will be referenced as Ruto Defense Exhibit number 95. These pictures will be registered as public.
Thank you. Mr. Khan, you now want to deal with 0197. Do you
5 photographs, 0028 0197 to 0201.
There may be a problem with 0200.
0? Your Honour, in that case, excluding that photograph. Your Honour, it's a wide-angled, it's a panoramic photograph. So one could
Some of us know that that could use that thing called stitching technology to do it. And if that's the case, then there may be questions about that. So that's the difficulty with it.
So, Your Honour, I won't seek to rely upon that photograph. So in that case, the prosecution don't object to the first photograph, 0028-0197. I would ask then to be shown to the witness, for the sake of completeness, the next in the series, 0028-0198.
Please, if the witness can be shown that.
Do you recognise that photograph, witness?
That is the compound of William Ruto's house in Sugayon.
I'm grateful. And with the court's assistance, the next photograph, Ken D09 0028-0199.
Witness, do you recognize what's being shown?
Still the house of William Ruto in Sugayon.
Grateful. And then the last one, Your Honours, with the assistance of the court, Ken D09 0028-0201.
Witness, do you recognize what's being shown?
Still the house of Honorable William Ruto in Sugayon.
Did you say still the house of Honorable William?
The same house I was shown before, Your Honor.
Okay. Remember to pause before you start talking. That's what's going on. So we avoid overlap. Thank you. Mr. Khan? Prosecution, you do not object, of course.
No objection.
I'm grateful, Your Honours, and I'd ask then with the court's leave that those be admitted into evidence and they be marked as defence exhibits.
Court will accept into the record the series of photos from 0197 to 0201 with the exception of 0200.
Thank you, Mr. President. This series of photographs between Ken D0900280197 until Ken D0900280201, excluding photograph at page 0200, will bear the following number: EVD T D09 00096, and will also be referenced as Ruto Defense Exhibit number 96. These pictures will be registered as public.
Thank you. Mr. Khan, please proceed.
And Your Honours, if you can go into private session for a moment, please.
A private session.
All rise. We will away. Please be seated. Veuillez vous asseoir.
Thank you very much. Mr. Khan, you were beginning to we will go into
A public session, Your Honour, and just 2 exhibits.
we'll need to go into private session.
We're in open session, Your Honours.
Witness, did you give an interview where you said that you didn't have any criminal background?
Yes, Your Honor. I didn't say I don't have any criminal background, Your Honor.
You didn't say that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I'll come back to that, witness, in a private session. Your Honours, I would ask that the PIS form be given to the witness. I think other parties have been given copies.
Please give the PIS form, defense PIS form, to the witness.
And witness, I had said my last question, I'd promised to come back to a topic, and I will, if I remember, but I don't
Counsel,
want...
1 second, for the record, so the PIS we're looking at, say,
PIS 1.
that will be the document identified as Defense PIS 1-P-356.
Indeed. Defense PIS 1-P-356, correct. Witness, just in relation to my last question, lest there be any misunderstanding, I put it to you that you did, when you were interviewed, you said that you did, you said this, and let me quote, "I did not have any criminal background." Did you deny saying that, do you?
I don't remember saying that, Your Honor.
And Your Honor, just for my learned friends, it's Ken OTP 0116-0672.
1 second, so we can get to it.
Well, Your Honor, I'm moving on. I'm moving on.
You're moving on, okay.
Just for the record, for my friend's assistance. The first number for Mr. Garcia, 0657, is the first page number. I'm grateful for the assistance.
Line 463.
And line 463. Now, witness, looking at the form in front of you, can you see that sheet of paper?
Yes, Your Honor.
And it's divided into places, people, and objects. Can you see that?
Yes, Your Honor.
So because we're now in public session, the public can hear what we're saying. I want you to, I'll ask hopefully quite precise questions, and I don't want you to use the name of anybody that may identify you. But I'm going to refer you quite specifically to this document, so please keep a close eye on it. Is that understood?
Yes, Your Honor, but I would like to ask something, Your Honor. If we are in...
One second. Can we go into private session?
We're in open session, Your Honors.
Mr. Khan, please proceed.
Witness, if you can look at the document in front of you, it's true, is it not,
We're talking about a PIS. What
yes,
document?
the PIS form. You see that, witness?
The defense PIS.
You see that document?
Yes, Your Honor.
Divided in 3 places, people and objects?
Yes, Your Honor.
It's true, is it not, that person 17 on that form, can you see number 17?
I see, Your Honor.
Reported you to the police for stealing, and if you look at the object under 19, can you see that?
Yes, Your Honor, I see.
And selling it.
Yes, Your Honor, I see.
And you were charged with a criminal offence, weren't you?
I was judged, Your Honor.
And you were sentenced to 1 month imprisonment, is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
And 1 second, counsel. Witness's response was yes, he had seen person number 17, and yes, he had seen item number 19. The point needs to be clearer. Witness, counsel is saying that person number 17 reported you to the police for stealing item number 19, item indicated as number 19. Was that what happened?
Yes, Your Honor, it happened.
All right. Mr. Khan, continue.
And you were convicted for that offence, is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you were sent by a judge to prison for 1 month, is that right?
It was 2 months, Your Honor, not 1 month.
And the proceeds of your crime you spent on drink, did you not?
I didn't, Your Honor.
You didn't spend the money that you got for selling the object number 19 on the sheet before you, if you look at it.
I've seen.
You didn't spend that money on liquor?
I object, Your Honor. I can understand defense counsel's right to cross-examine on questions of prior convictions. Actually, on this type, I think that this prior conviction is over 20 years old. That's something that's important. Second thing is that this line of questioning on what he would have used the money to do is completely irrelevant for the purposes of that examination of determining whether he has prior convictions and whether that affects the credibility of the witness. There's absolutely no need for that at all. It's just character evidence regarding the witness.
Your Honor, my respectful submission.
Objection overruled.
I'm grateful. And in fact, you told the prosecution witness that you spent the proceeds of your crime on drink, didn't you?
I've never ever told them that, Your Honor.
Your Honor, I'll refer the bench to tab 40 on the file.
So you will do the usual thing of contradicting. Tab 40, you said? Tab 40?
Your Honor, tab 40, it's Ken OTP 0107-0561. Of the evidence file, not the transcript file, Your Honor, the evidence file.
Your Honor, the prosecution is going to object to the line of questioning which we think defense counsel is about to embark on.
Private session.
We're in open session, Your Honor.
Witness, in private session, I asked you a question that whether or not you spent the proceeds of crime on drink, you denied it. And when I put a document to you, you accepted, after all, that you had said you had spent the money on drinks. That's right, is it not?
It is true, Your Honor.
And witness, if you look at the sheet in front of you, do you see the person who is listed at number 15 under people? Can you see that person?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you also steal from him an object, the object listed at number 19?
That's a lie, Your Honor. I've never ever done that, Your Honor.
And in fact, you admitted that theft even to person at number 14, didn't you?
Your Honor, the person at number 14 is the one. Okay, Your Honor, I didn't.
And you told the person at 14 that you had sold that object at place number 6 at the top, didn't you?
It's a lie, Your Honor.
Can you see the person's name mentioned at number 10?
I've seen, Your Honor.
You stole the object listed at number 20. Can you see that? The object listed at number 20?
I've seen, Your Honor.
You stole that from person number 10, didn't you?
Your Honor, it could have been even better if both names of the person were listed, Your Honor, because I don't even remember.
Wait. Be careful. There are some times when it's better to respond with yes or no. As I indicated to you before, if you feel that you must elaborate on an answer beyond yes or no in a manner that might reveal your identity, you let us know. But if it is sufficient in your mind, and we also have the prosecution here who called you to testify, if it is sufficient to respond with the answer yes or no, that is the safest way to proceed when a witness who's been protected is giving testimony in public. Counsel, repeat the question.
A witness, I'm saying that you stole item number 20 from person number 10. That's the truth, isn't it?
No, Your Honor.
And you also were in trouble, were you not, when you stole item number 25? Can you see that at the bottom? You stole item number 25 from place number 9. Do you remember that incident?
No, Your Honor, and I beg to respond to that, Your Honor, in private session, Your Honor.
Let's go to private session.
We're in open session, Your Honors.
Scan, please proceed.
Your Honour, as there's 10 minutes left, I'll actually rearrange my questioning because the one segment I want to do in one go, so I'll do that after lunch. And Your Honour, I think if that's the case, well, let me do it. Witness, you've tried to cheat the International Criminal Court, haven't you?
No, Your Honor, I've never, ever tried to cheat the International Criminal Court.
And you were caught red-handed, weren't you?
No, Your Honor, no one has caught me red-handed because I have tried to my best to speak the truth.
Your Honour, I've got bundles which I'll ask to be distributed. Disclosure that was received yesterday. Could I have the assistance of the court officer?
Are you and the witness on the same wavelength on the question you've just asked him?
Your Honour, I'll clarify in a moment. A witness, you were caught writing false receipts and submitting them to the International Criminal Court, weren't you?
No, Your Honor, I've never ever submitted any fake receipts.
You told the ICC that there was a non-existent hotel that you were claiming money for. Isn't that right?
No, Your
Wait, one question. You might want to take the question again. Did he use the word non-existent in any proposition he put to the prosecution that you're driving at? Or are you saying there was a certain hotel and a separate question that hotel never existed?
Your Honor, let me start again. Witness, I don't want you to misunderstand me. You've tried to milk the International Criminal Court for money, haven't you?
No, Your Honor, I've not done.
You bought a receipt book, didn't you?
I didn't buy any receipt book, Your Honor.
And you told the International Criminal Court that you presented bills from a hotel that you made up in your imagination, didn't you, witness?
No, Your Honor.
And you wrote these receipts and presented them to get money. Isn't that right? Isn't that correct?
No, Your Honor.
Your Honor, with your leave, I would seek to show the witness. Just one moment. Your Honor, if you just bear with me a moment, my copy doesn't have ERN numbers. And I'd be grateful, with the court's assistance, if document Ken D09 0028 294 could be put on the screen. part of a document starting Ken D09-0028-0296, but the document, sorry, 0284, starting 0028-0284, but the document I want to be put on the screen first is, in fact, D09-0028-0295, and it's the last page, in fact, of the bundle, the last page.
Can you just confirm the level of confidentiality, please?
These are confidential.
It has to be inside the courtroom only.
Witness, can you see that?
I can't recall it, Your Honor.
That's your handwriting, isn't it, witness?
No, not my handwriting at all, my own.
And that's a receipt you presented to officials of the ICC in an attempt to be reimbursed for that amount of money on that date. Isn't that right?
I don't recall doing that, Your Honor.
Your Honor, I'd ask to be put on the screen 0294. Witness, I want to know if these two additional receipts help jog your memory about what you did. Ken D09-0028-0294. Witness, can you see those receipts?
Yes, I see them, Your Honor.
The first one you'll see is for 50,000 shillings for an apartment. You can see that, can't you?
I can see it, Your Honor.
And the second one is for 4,000 shillings for 1 day for an apartment. Can you see that?
I can see, Your Honor.
You fraudulently presented these receipts to the International Criminal Court, didn't you?
Your Honor, I now remember the receipts. And the 50,000, I was not the one who was paying. But the 4,000 and the other one, I was the one who was paying, Your Honor. But the representative of the court is the one who paid for the 50,000, Your Honor.
Witness, please listen to the questions. It's important if we're to get to the truth. Please listen to the questions. You wrote these receipts yourself, did you not?
If we could have been in private session, Your Honor, I would have named the person who wrote the receipts, Your Honor. Not me, Your Honor.
Okay, you deny writing them. You presented these receipts to the International Criminal Court so that you could claim for yourself this money, did you not?
Your Honor, I have clearly said that the two receipts is the money which was sent to me. And the 50,000 receipt, I was not the one who paid. Even it's not only 50,000, there is another receipt for 60,000. And I was not the one who paid for it, Your Honor.
And the International Criminal Court refused to pay that money because they realized you were on a journey of dishonesty, didn't they?
Your Honor, there was no day I have ever been in any trouble with the International Criminal Court about the payment of where I'm staying, and there is no day that I have never ever been given money for accommodation, Your Honor.
And you were panicking. You were panicking that your fraud would mean you'd be kicked out of the ICC protection program and this gravy train that you'd been riding would end. Isn't that the truth?
That is a great lie, Your Honor.
Your Honor, that's a convenient moment, with your leave.
We will rise for lunch after the blinds have come down for the witness to be escorted from the courtroom.